What if I told you that the moment you stop chasing her is the moment she starts chasing you? You've felt the pain of caring too much, giving too much, waiting too long. You've probably wondered, what if I just stopped? But what happens when you do? When you stop pursuing, when you stop being available at her every beck and call? That's when everything changes. The truth is, the very thing that hurts you right now, your lack of attention and disinterest, could be the key to unlocking your best version of yourself. This isn't about playing games, it's about real transformation. The moment you stop being her backup plan is the moment you become the person everyone else wants to be around. You can either keep chasing after her, or you can turn this moment into the catalyst for your evolution. If you're ready to stop waiting and start winning, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications and comment below. I choose myself over everything. Let's dive in. Number 1. When silence becomes your power. Her subtle moves say it all. At first she pretends nothing has changed. She seems calm, maybe even happier. No reaction, no message, no sign of emotional disturbance. But deep inside, there's a question brewing. Why hasn't he come back yet? The answer? Because this time, you didn't play the expected role. And that shift flips everything. Silence is louder than 1,000 explanations when used from a place of strength. While she pretends to move on, she starts checking your story, asking mutual friends how you're doing, scrolling through your social media hoping to find signs that you're struggling, missing her, or even angry. But you give her none of that. Instead, she finds stillness. The kind of stillness that only a man who has reclaimed his peace can hold. When you stop chasing, she starts wondering. That's when the subtle games begin. She posts a photo with someone new, too soon, too perfect. Maybe there's a caption with hidden meaning. Maybe she accidentally replies to one of your stories. She's not doing this because she's over you. She's doing it because she's not. And now she needs you to flinch. But you don't. The more she senses your composure, the more frantic her tests become. A friendly "how are you" message, a memory from nowhere, an emoji in your inbox late at night, and eventually, the kindness that once felt natural becomes a strategy, her way of pulling you back in without admitting she wants to. And still, you remain still, because you've come to understand something most never do. Real value doesn't chase validation, and by holding your ground, you force her to face a truth she's been avoiding, that losing you wasn't a fluke, it was a consequence. Her final move? Drama, emotion, long messages that sound like accusations but are veiled desperation. But even now, you don't react, you respond, if at all, with clarity, brevity and strength. Because Stoicism teaches this: a man who controls himself cannot be controlled by anyone else. Comment below. My silence speaks for me. I don't chase chaos. Number 2. When she tries to trigger jealousy but you stay untouched. There's a moment she realizes you're not chasing anymore, that your silence isn't just temporary, it's intentional. And instead of confronting that directly, she plays her next card: jealousy. She starts slow, a casual mention of another guy, maybe in conversation with mutual friends or through a subtle post. Had a great time today, with a smiley face, or a vague photo with a guy's shoulder barely in the frame. It's not accidental, it's a test. But here's the shift. You don't bite. You don't like the photo, you don't react with a vague status of your own, you stay grounded. And this does something far more powerful than responding. It unsettles her. Most men would have jumped. They would have texted, asked who the guy was, tried to win her back or prove their worth. But you don't need to, because a man of true value never enters a competition he never agreed to. She thought you'd feel left out. She thought you'd come back asking for attention. Instead, your silence grows stronger, and so does her curiosity. Now she upgrades her game. She posts clearer photos, she tags people, she suddenly becomes hypersensitive on social media, trying to craft a version of herself that looks happier, freer, more desirable. But all of this is directed toward pulling your gaze back. And yet you remain focused on yourself, the gym, your purpose, your peace. You don't just ignore her, you outgrow her energy. That's what separates you. It's not that you're pretending not to care. You've accepted reality. Anyone manipulating your emotions doesn't deserve a place in your peace. Her validation no longer controls you, which makes you powerful in her eyes and dangerous in her game. From the Stoic view, this isn't detachment for revenge. It's emotional discipline, the kind of strength that bends but never breaks. You don't have to prove anything because you've already left the arena. So remember, when she tries to make you jealous, don't mirror the game. Stay grounded. That's where your power is. Comment below, I don't react, I refine. Number 3. When she reaches out with no real reason. It often begins with something seemingly harmless. A random message. Hey, I just remembered that book you mentioned. Or, did you ever end up trying that sushi place? It's casual, non-committal, but the intent runs deeper. She doesn't actually care about the sushi. This is not about food, books, or lost belongings. It's a feeler. A quiet knock at the door to see if it's still open. She won't admit she misses you. That would mean surrendering her position. Instead, she crafts excuses, fragments of memories, to reopen a connection without risking vulnerability. And here's where most men fall. They see the message and their heart races. They reply too quickly, too warmly. They take it as a green light, not realizing it's just a mirror she's holding up to check her reflection in your eyes. Do you still admire her? Do you still want her? But you take a different route. You see it for what it is, not an invitation, but a test. You pause, you assess, and maybe, just maybe, you don't respond at all. Why? Because not all messages deserve an answer, especially the ones that carry no weight. The ones that say, I'm bored, not I care. The ones that try to pull you back into orbit without effort, without accountability. This is where Stoic strength shines. A man grounded in his purpose doesn't react to breadcrumbs. He doesn't respond out of habit, nostalgia, or loneliness. He respects his time, attention, and emotional peace, and only shares it. When she realizes you didn't reply, or worse, replied with brief politeness and nothing more, a subtle panic sets in. Why didn't it work? Has he moved on? Am I not enough to trigger him anymore? That silence becomes the loudest statement you've ever made. It's not about being cruel, it's about being clear. If you respect yourself, you don't reward confusion with clarity. You don't let someone dip in and out of your world whenever they feel uncertain in theirs. So the next time you get that random message, stop and ask, is this a real connection or just a signal flare from someone afraid of losing control? Comment below. I only respond to what respects my peace. Number 4. When she suddenly becomes overly friendly. It begins subtly. A smile that lingers longer, a compliment that feels just a little too intentional, or a laugh that comes too easily from someone who once held back. She's not just being nice, she's being strategic. You know it because it comes after distance. After weeks of silence, half-hearted replies, or passive indifference, she reappears, brighter, warmer, more attentive. She asks how you've been, notices your haircut, even references old inside jokes. But beneath that charm lies a calculated move. She's not trying to love you again. She's trying not to lose you. This version of her is not spontaneous, it's tactical. It's designed to test the waters, to gauge whether you're still there emotionally, mentally, ready to fall back into the role of the reliable admirer. And here's where most men break character. They take the friendliness as a sign of renewed interest. They soften, lean in, and let the past slip back in. But the truth? She doesn't necessarily want you back. She just doesn't want to feel like she lost you. To her, your silence isn't just quiet, it's unsettling. It signals change, independence, evolution, and that scares her. So she smiles brighter, gets a little closer, hoping that proximity can undo distance, hoping that warmth can reopen a door that was never fully closed, just left slightly ajar. But this is the moment you prove you've changed. You don't react with need. You respond with poise. You see the kindness, the laughter, and the effort, but you don't confuse friendliness with depth. You understand that someone being sweet doesn't automatically make them sincere. That's the Stoic edge. Still, calm, unmoved. You appreciate the gesture but don't invest in the illusion, because you remember the version of her who vanished when you needed presence. You remember the detachment behind her distractions. And you've learned not to fall for potential, only consistency. So you smile back, briefly, kindly, but not eagerly, because the man who has found his peace can see through attempts to manufacture connection. He knows the difference between someone who misses him and someone who misses being missed. Comment below, I don't mistake friendliness for loyalty. Number 5. When she tries to make you jealous. Again, but louder. At first it was subtle, a passing mention of a friend, a vague story about someone making her laugh. You brushed it off. Now it's deliberate. She's posting more selfies than ever. She tags a guy you've never seen before, the captions get flirtier, the laughs look louder. She's not trying to move on, she's trying to ensure you don't. This is the upgraded version of jealousy tactics. When her light teasing didn't get a reaction, she cranks up the volume. She's hoping that somewhere inside you, there's still a trace of the man who used to care too much, who would message, question, or react. But you don't, because by now you've seen through the illusion. You know this isn't happiness, it's performance. It's not about the guy in the picture. It's about the man not in her DMs anymore. You. She wants to know that she still matters, even if it's through negative attention. And jealousy? It's the cheapest shortcut to that confirmation. Here's the Stoic truth. Real power is in not engaging. You don't need to unfollow. You don't need to mute. You simply look, not with bitterness, but with understanding. You see the attempt, you see the effort behind the image, and you stay grounded, because she's not the first person to mistake provocation for connection. She's not the first to think that a curated illusion could stir something real. And the more you remain unaffected, the more the tactic backfires. She wanted to feel in control again, to make you the reactive one. But now she's left with silence, and silence is a mirror. It reflects back all her moves and motives. It forces her to confront a difficult question. Why doesn't he care anymore? And that's when the power shifts. Again, not because you played the game better, but because you refused to play. You chose dignity over drama, peace over provocation. You didn't just move on, you evolved. Comment below. Silence wins when words are weapons. Number 6. When she reaches out with a weak excuse. It starts with a ping, not a long message, not a confession, just something like, "Hey, do you still have that book I lent you?" Or, "I just saw something that reminded me of you." It's small, seemingly innocent, and doesn't ask much. But don't be fooled. This isn't about the book or the memory. It's about testing the waters. She doesn't want to seem like she's chasing, but she also can't stay in the silence much longer. It's eating at her. The not knowing whether you've moved on, not knowing whether you're thinking of her, not knowing if the door is truly closed. So she knocks, lightly. The excuse is weak on purpose. If you don't reply, she can pretend it wasn't important, but if you do, that's her sign. That means she still has a line to you, that maybe, just maybe, she still matters. And here's where most men fall. They see the message and think it's a sign of reconciliation, of a spark being reignited. But more often than not, it's just about control. She wants to know if she can still tug the string and watch you react. She wants to see if you're still standing where she left you. The Stoic response? See it for what it is, a test, and respond not with emotion, but with awareness. You don't have to be cruel. You don't have to be cold, but you do have to be clear. You can acknowledge without inviting, you can reply without reopening the door, or you can choose not to respond at all, because sometimes the best response is still silence. Because what she's seeking isn't closure, it's confirmation, and when you don't give it, it forces her to confront a deeper truth. You no longer seek validation. You've moved on from the performance. You've reclaimed your time, your attention, and your peace. Insight, the one who stays silent when baited is the one who has truly detached. Comment below, I don't answer questions I've already answered with distance. Number 7, when she explodes. Emotionally, but it's not really about you. It often comes unannounced. A sudden message, a long wall of text. Maybe it's filled with blame. You've changed. You didn't even care. Or it's laced with pain. I don't know why this hurts so much. You just disappeared like I never mattered. At first glance, it feels like she's finally opening up, finally expressing how she feels. But in reality, this is her last attempt at control. Because every calm silence you've given her, every boundary you've stood by, every moment you refused to chase, it built pressure inside her. She expected you to break, to come running back, to beg like before, but you didn't, and now she's not in control. A reflection of her own hurt and loss of control, often some in both of you, from within her own, or from the outer. Usually you don't remember the other. That's why it turns into drama. That's why she lashes out, not because of something you did recently, but because of what you didn't do. You didn't fall apart. This stage, the emotional outburst, is often mistaken for reconciliation. Many men crumble here. They mistake the intensity for vulnerability, for love. They think, she still cares. But care rooted in manipulation is not care, it's chaos dressed in sentiment. The Stoic watches, not to react, but to understand. He knows that words spoken in emotional desperation are often not about the other person, but about the speaker's war with themselves. Her frustration isn't about you walking away, it's about what your silence revealed. That she never had the power she thought she did. So what do? You stay grounded, you don't match her tone, you don't argue, you don't defend yourself, because the moment you engage, you give her what she craves, your energy, your presence, your attention. And that's exactly what she's trying to win back, not with grace, but with volume. You are no longer the man who explains himself to chaos. You are the man who walks away from the noise and towards peace. Insight. Not every outburst deserves a response. Some are just echoes of a power she thought she had. Comment below. I respond to calm, not chaos. You started this journey thinking you had to win her back, but now you realize you didn't need to win her back, you needed to win yourself. She didn't take your power, she only revealed where you had lost it, and now you know exactly where to reclaim it. If you're ready to keep evolving, to stop settling for less, like this video, subscribe and comment below. I am the prize. Stay strong, keep building. Your future isn't waiting, it's already yours.